So for today's presentation, we will start by giving you an introduction of McGill University, really for the people who are not aware of our university, who don't know our university very well. We will then present the McGill School of Continuing Studies, and this will be the focus of today's presentation. So we will go over all of the programs, the courses, as well as the workshops that are offered at McGill SCS. And then we will present all of the student services that you have access to as a student from the School of Continuing Studies. So McGill University was founded in 1821, and we celebrated last year McGill's bicentennial anniversary, so 200 years of its founding. And there are a lot of replay webinars that you can watch if ever you are interested in learning about the history of McGill, or if you are maybe interested in joining an event that is being organized to celebrate this anniversary. You can click the link here for more information. But a few things to note about McGill University is that it is considered one of the best universities in the world. In fact, we have been ranked the best university in Canada now for the past 17 years, and we also have an international reputation. We have made the list of different world university ranking systems for higher education, and we've been ranked already for 2022, 27th in the world, and you have two other examples here of our rankings. But our university is rated amongst the world's most international universities. So we welcome students from over 150 countries. Close to 30% of our students are international students, and we welcome students in over 300 programs. Throughout the years, McGill University has won many awards, and we are very proud of our tradition of success. We have a total of 12 Nobel Prizes. These were prizes that were won in different fields, but mainly in chemistry, in physics, and in medicine. We also have 147 Rhodes Scholars, which are also McGill alumni. For those of you who don't know what Rhodes Scholars are, this is a very prestigious award that is given to students based on their academic achievements, and they are given the opportunity to study at the University of Oxford for up to 2 years and collaborate on different research projects. A little bit about the School of Continuing Studies now. So we are part of McGill University. We are considered a professional school, and we are known in Quebec, in Canada. We also have an international reputation. But what is very known about our school is that we focus on career and professional development programs as well as workshops. We also have a very diverse student body. So just as McGill University, we welcome a lot of international students. Our students take courses with international students, with local students, students from Quebec, from other provinces in Canada, as well as with working professionals who are returning to study. All of our courses are taught by active professionals in the field. So all of our instructors have over 15 years of experience in their field, and they work very hard to bring all of that expertise, that knowledge, and that experience to the classrooms. It's also important for us to mention that all of our courses, whether they are credit or non-credit, they all undergo the same approval and quality control process as any other course that is offered across the university.
Fantastic. Thank you for that. That's a really great overview of a little bit of McGill. I think it's a great place to start. So my part of this is a little bit, I guess, giving an overview of what the school specifically offers. And so you'll be seeing here a list of some of the courses and fields that we cover. It's not an exhaustive list, but it is a list nonetheless that'll give you a good sense of where we're kind of situated currently. So we'll have programs in the credit and non-credit side in the accounting, we have aviation, we have human resources, information technologies, the type of professional programs that students tend to look for if they are looking to work in the field, transition their career into a domain that you see listed. Some students are looking to maybe get a professional designation, and so many of our programs help in achieving the academic requirements for those designations and associations. So some of the fields that we have here, you'll know, for example, CPA or the CHRP for the HR, there'll be a designation. We have the Charter of Managers designation as well. We offer courses learning language, English, French. We also have a certificate in bilingual studies. These are all in the context of professional language skills, so business context. We have workshops on negotiating skills, getting ready to lead, coaching, leadership skills, you'll see. And then we have some professional development certificates. These are non-credit certificates that kind of get together and group together a series of courses on a specific field, really go in depth, really give you the tools necessary if you're looking to work in the field, or if you work in that field and you want to upgrade your skills. We have these kind of very specific fields like cloud computing, data analytics. We have full stack web development. We have project management that's also recognized for the number of hours per the PMI. I didn't mention, just I thought of it now, as I said, cloud computing. We have a program in cybersecurity, applied cybersecurity, a credit program. Courses are all online. Classes are in the evening, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. And the majority of our courses are under that format. There are some exceptions to it. We have some language courses in the day, but most of them are in the evening, 6 to 9, maybe a weekend, a Saturday. And that applies to all the kind of courses and workshops and tables on this table that you see here. Mentioned, we also have applied AI, which is obviously a future program where everyone's kind of looking at. So I think if you are looking to advance your career, if you're looking to kind of transition careers into what's next, these are the types of programs and the fields that I think are probably the hottest ones now, and that you should maybe kind of look at. If you go to our website and you kind of search these programs, you'll definitely get more details than what you see on this table. But this is really just kind of a sense of what we offer. And in the terms of workshops as well, just to note, just because some people ask, some of them are 1 or 2 days. And they're great if your employer is looking for you to accumulate just, a course or two towards towards the number of hours of training for them. These are also great workshops that we offer. Now, let's see what we have next on the menu. Most frequently asked questions. So the most frequent questions that we get is, what's the difference between registering for a course and applying to the program? And I think it's a little bit confusing in the way we operate, in the sense that some students are able to register right away. So it's possible in theory that, a month before the start of the term, you're able to kind of get into a course and get going and get rolling and everything's smooth. But it doesn't necessarily mean you've applied to the program. So when a student applies to the program, they go through a formal process wherein they go into our website, they log in, they create a profile, they submit documents depending on the programs, and we'll see that a little bit later on some slides, what some of the documents might be and what the requirements are. But they'll go through the formal process. They'll submit the documents, they'll get a decision from the admissions office, and if they're admitted into the program, they will be given a study plan, and it'll detail exactly what they need to do to obtain this certificate, diploma, professional development certificate. Once you've done that, you're kind of locked in, you have a clear path, you know what you're going to get. The courses within a program are always going to be related, so there's a clear sense of kind of the direction you're going. Registering for a course could be you just have an interest in a course. Maybe you just want to do an introduction to financial accounting course. Maybe you want to do an organizational behavior course. You're not really sure where and what you want to do in terms of commitment towards a program. And so we do have that option. So you get to, in a sense, sample a course or two and see how it fits in your schedule, see how the teaching method is, see if this is exactly what you had expected and what you can get out of it. The requirements to register as an independent or a special student, and that's for the individual courses, you still have to satisfy the same prerequisites as you would if you're going to be admitted, but you don't have that commitment of having to continue on or do anything further in that kind of discipline. So now the next question is, I'm ready to go. How many courses can I take, excuse me, versus how many courses should I take? Now that's an individual question. You really have to figure that out on your own. The guidelines that we have really is, you have to figure out how much of your personal and professional commitments eat up during a week and what you have available. So the goal is that you take these courses and they don't become a burden or a strain. They actually enhance what you're doing, and they meld well into your current life. So a person who's working 60, 70 hours a week, we highly recommend, they consider taking 1, 2 courses. Someone who maybe is only working, 10, 15 hours a week, and they're able to take, 3 or 4 courses, they're more than welcome to do that. It really is a personal judgment. Know that each class is usually 3 hours in length. So take an example at night, it's 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. And then outside of class, it could vary, but assume between 6 hours to 9 hours of extra work. So preparing for exams, reviewing the material, going over your notes, preparing assignments. So that'll give you a gauge of maybe what to undertake. Now, if you complete a program, can you continue to another degree program? So if I complete a certificate, an undergraduate certificate, or a graduate level diploma, can I, do this and then follow up and do a bachelor's or a master's degree? No, you can't. There really are professional programs. These programs, as they are now, are really aimed not at continuing your studies to get another degree, but to get the tools that you need here and now to work in the field that you're going to go into or that you work in. So they're more professional, they're more practical, they're more hands-on. You're really looking at real life cases, current cases. As my colleague mentioned, these are working professionals. This isn't necessarily just theory. So when you look at these programs, you really have to look at it as standalone programs from the rest of the university. Sorry about that. Okay, so let's see what else we have on tap today. Oh, now we're going to get into a little bit of what the admission requirements are. I will not go into full detail for all these, the next 3 slides, but give you a general idea. So for the undergraduate certificate programs, we're looking at a student having their SCS diploma, or a student who's between 18 and 21 can take a look at the potential of getting into a qualifying program. But let's take a standard, someone who's finished their DEC here in Quebec. They would need that transcript sent from their SCS, and they need to be at least 21 in general. And then that would satisfy the admission requirements for that. If you look at, for example, the next slide will show you the graduate certificate. It becomes a little bit trickier. So now this one, you need a bachelor's degree from a recognized university. And there's a list. If you've studied outside of Quebec, you'll need to contact your home university, have the official transcript sent directly here. So from your registrars to our admissions office in a sealed envelope, all the transcripts, all the grades, the grading key, and then they'll do their evaluation. And in some cases, they may ask you for an evaluation from the minister. So that's something to kind of keep in mind when you're considering applying. And usually the graduate certificate programs require that you have a bachelor's degree in a similar discipline to, your bachelor's degree is similar discipline to the graduate certificate you're looking to get into. So it's a shorter program. They're usually about 5, 6 courses, and they're really an add-on to what you've done in your prior studies. So just a continuation on. You'll see compared to the next slide, which is the graduate level diploma programs. This one, you don't necessarily, you need a bachelor's degree from a recognized university. In some cases, you need the equivalent of 3 out of 4 in the overall cumulative average in your bachelor's degree, but you don't necessarily need to have a bachelor's degree in the same discipline. So this type of program is really geared towards individuals who are looking to pivot. So I have a bachelor's degree in fine arts and I want to do accounting. It's the diploma program that I'm looking at. It doesn't matter that my degree isn't necessarily in commerce or in accounting. It's that I'm looking to transition into it and I need this academic training. That's where the diploma fits in. And in the cases of the graduate certificate previously and this diploma, you also need to demonstrate your proof of English proficiency. So an IELTS, a TOEFL, your studies were in English for the 4 years or the 3 years, depending on where you studied. So there's other criteria that you're required, and you can go over this on our website. You'll see the program that potentially interests you and what you need. The professional development certificates, You may not necessarily need to have the official transcripts sent from the university. You can upload copies of what you have. A lot of individuals who study abroad will have the official transcripts given to them upon graduation. So you can upload a scanned copy of that and they'll do that review. And in some cases, they will ask for English, but it won't have the exact same criteria. So it's highly recommended that you kind of look at the programs that you might be interested in and take a look at what specifically that one requires. The one thing I did want to note from the graduate certificate and the diploma program, and I think this is maybe not emphasized enough in a lot of cases, but it's a non-competitive admission process. So provided you satisfy the requirements for admission into the program, there will be a space for you. There's not going to be a situation where, you know, I have a 3.0, I have a bachelor's from a recognized university. I've applied and I find out, sorry, you know, there's only 25 seats. I'm candidate 26. I don't get it. So non-competitive. I think that is a key factor to kind of consider. So the energy you've invested, everything you've done to kind of collect and do your application will reap a result in the end. You won't be faced with that situation where you will not have a spot if you meet that requirement. So that covers a little bit generally about the programs. Again, I really do highly recommend you take a look at the website at your program, see specifically what it is, or reach out to us if you have any questions about that. You'll see the contact later on in some slide of our client service office. So here are some useful links you'll see, the deadlines to apply. There are normally 3 admission periods. Some programs only have 1, but we have normally 3 admissions, a winter admissions, a summer admissions, and a fall admissions. If you see that there is no admission for your program in the winter and the summer, then it really is designed to start in the fall. In general, if they're able to have you start it, and there's at least a course you can take or 2 courses you can take in the winter and the summer, they will have an open admission for that. You'll find the English language requirement proficiency, the proficiency requirement link here. And so it'll give you a variety of options for you to kind of demonstrate that you have the proof of English required. And the next one, if you studied internationally, the grading scheme will be different, most likely. You're not going to be on a 4. Even in Quebec, a lot of universities aren't on a 4.0. So you will be able to kind of get an idea of, based on your grading scale, what is the equivalent of a 3, just so you can get a good sense of where you're positioned. If you don't have a 3 and there's a program at the graduate level that you're interested in, you can see there's an appeals process. You'll put a letter of intent, you'll have 2 reference letters and an up-to-date CV, and they'll do an assessment of that. But that, you know, you'll be communicated by the admissions office. They'll let you know that these are the additional documents you need. So you shouldn't worry so much, but this guide or this international degree equivalency will be a good guide to get a sense of where you are. The key factor, the fees, you'll get a link here of the fees, and that depends on your residency status. There's 3 different residency status. You have Quebec residents who pays a certain fee. You'll have a Canadian but non-Quebec resident who pay a separate fee. And then you'll have international students that have a 3rd fee. We also have some courses online that, depending on where you're physically located, will have a different fee structure. So it's really good to kind of get a sense of the program you want and look at the fee structure and you know, do a quick calculation and see how much to expect in terms of full program. You will find when you look at it, it really is, in terms of cost, one of the least financially burdened programs. They really are relatively well and reasonably priced. And then also there's a newsletter. You know, highly recommend to sign up to the newsletter, get any information that kind of pops up. And maybe you're not ready to make the move now, but it's good to kind of keep this on the radar and see what's new, what's going on, and if there's any special events or anything that's going to be happening that, you know, you may want to participate in. Let's see. So for the next slide, the client services office. Now, this is a little bit of a one-stop shop where you can, and we have housed there our student accounts office, we have housed there our registration office, and we have housed there our admissions office. So you will be able to get answers on admission files, on registration issues, our academic advising services. I am, and my colleagues as well, are tied into CAT's career advising and transition services, which I will try to mention ever so briefly. It is really a program and an offering that it will be interesting, but we're housed there, but we're still connected to client services. They have information on exam regulations if you have issues during your studies. For example, there's a conflict, there's a business trip, you have a course, you're not feeling well, you have a medical note, but you don't want to get penalized academically. This is the unit that you would kind of reach out to, and they would help you kind of administer that process. It's also where you can get your ID cards. And if you have general questions, you're more than welcome to send it to the info.content@mcgill.ca email. And so they will answer questions on the non-credit programs, registration questions, language questions. If they don't have the answer, they will be able to redirect you to the right resource. And so it's a good starting off point to go. McGill libraries. Now they are beautiful and they are plentiful. So you will see here a list, and that is not a mistake. There are that many libraries here at McGill. It's splendid. You can study there. Some of them even have little rooms where you can do group work, or you can study autonomously. They offer workshops themselves, how to use the resource services and the virtual services. So a lot of the stuff that you can access, you can do so at home. You don't physically have to be here. Some of the newspapers and some of the articles that you may need during your research, you don't physically have to be here. They offer tours. You can obviously borrow books. It's a library. So if they didn't do that, it would be odd, but you can borrow books as well. They have, again, study hubs, workstations with specific softwares. We have a library liaison, so we have someone for the school, and they have other kind of tools available to you to kind of help support you during your studies. Macy's is the McGill Association of Continuing Education Students. They are the student union. They are your voice. They are the ones that will organize events. They are the ones that have launched, because of the demand from the students, a health and dental plan, a virtual healthcare plan, a legal protection plan. They also offer academic support. They also are the individuals that you can reach out to if you feel like you're not sure where to go next, and there's just questions. They really are your contact. They are students themselves. They understand what you are going through. They understand the support that you need, and they can help guide you to the right person, or they may be able to help. And they also hold events to create that community feeling, which I think if you're looking at returning to school, part of it is also to feel like you're part of something. That's McGill. And so this is a good place to start. Keep.me safe. Now, this is a mental health counseling service. It's free, it's confidential, it's online, it's available 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365. So, and interesting, access to mental health care in over 60 languages. People sometimes need to reach out and talk to someone, and this is a tool that is available to our registered students that allow them to, in a moment, get a hold of someone that can kind of help guide them, maybe allow them to have a little bit of space to voice whatever they need to voice. But this is an important tool, and so this is interesting. An interesting thing to bookmark, and if you do need it, absolutely use it. Absolutely use it, even if it's a one-time deal. We also have other School of Continuing Studies resources. So we have an office for students with disabilities. And I just want to make it clear, this office deals with students who have permanent disabilities, so learning disabilities, physical disabilities, hearing, seeing. But they also deal with students who have temporary disabilities. So we've had, a student who maybe broke their arm skiing. I'm looking out a window now and it's beautiful, but let's imagine there was snow and they broke their arm skiing and they need someone to help them take notes. They are able to accommodate that student as well. And so if you feel like you need additional support, they will ask you to open a file, you do a meeting with one of their access advisors, and then they will ask you for some supporting documents. So if you've previously studied in the stage upper university, you've gotten accommodations, you would open a file with them and they would help you get what you need to support your studies, so that you have a fair playing field and that you get all the support you need. There's a process to it, so it's really important that you do this early on, get familiar with them. Nothing really gets noted on any record other than when it comes time to an exam. If there's a special accommodation, you receive that accommodation. Otherwise, you attend the class and everything is as if you're not using the service. So it's a really good supportive service. We have IT services, so access when you're a registered student. I know at least for the credit program, you have access to Microsoft Office Suite. So that's great, full access to that. We have a McGill Writing Center. If you're working on, there's a few hours that they can allot. You can book an appointment with someone. If you're working on an essay, you want someone to kind of proofread it, this is an office that would offer some services that you can help fine tune that kind of essay or paper you're working on. We have tutorial services. So you're coming back to school, it's been a while. You feel like you need an additional work, practice outside of the class. We have a tutorial services. You would go there and then you would show them or give them the course outline that you have, and they would try to match you with someone that they vetted that has the technical skills to be able to tutor you. And it's kind of a fixed rate. It's a very structured process. So it's something that you can definitely avail yourself for. I'm going to skip the career advising and transition services to last. We have scholarships. This one is based on performance. We have scholarships that are awarded to registered students in a credit program. We have bursaries, financial and needs-based. So individuals that are in a program that are registered for a course can apply for a bursary. It gets reviewed and they try to issue as many as they can. Not everyone does get a bursary, I have to be honest about that, but there is as much financial support as the school can afford to give. They will give it to the students. We have academic advising. So we have our program advisors. I am one of them, but there's there will be a full team. And so you'll always have kind of access to someone. We also have an Indigenous Relations Initiative who have within their capacity an elder in residence. So someone who's available to guide students, even faculty and staff on mental, spiritual, and emotional and physical needs from a holistic Indigenous perspective. We also have a virtual longhouse. It's the Indigenous Connection Circle. So this one is really kind of, taking classes in the evening sometimes while working, or you have your family obligations. It can be stressful, sometimes even lonely, and create anxiety. So this kind of Indigenous Connection Circle is a virtual safe space for Indigenous students and alumni to gather once a month and create this connection. Now I'll go back to the career advising and transition services. This unit for which I'm housed under, I think offers like a hidden gem in all of this. So there are some events that are open to almost everyone, but this is another one of those great benefits for students who are in a program to take advantage of. So they have services like Meet a Career Advisor. So you are in a program, you're studying in the program and you're looking at what's next. This is the field you want to go into. This is a good opportunity to meet a career advisor, kind of map how to plan. They have networking events and they'll do it usually by theme. So if you're in a specific field, they will regroup individuals in that field. It's a good way to network. They will help with your CV. They will not do your CV. They will not aggressively edit your CV, but they will point out what you may want to consider when updating your CV or cover letter, what you're highlighting, what it is professionally they see when they read this and look at it. Is there anything that they want to flag that you should be aware of, so that you can kind of customize it for your job or your potential job? They have a mentoring and networking. They have sometimes or oftentimes they list job opportunities. Wow, there's like a plethora of stuff. They have career labs. They have a Power Skills Summit, which is an annual thing. There's a variety of support offered there. They are not a job placement service, so you can't necessarily go to CATS and say, I want to work in this field, help me find a job. But they offer all the support you need as you begin to look into what you want to do. So customizing what your kind of plan is, being realistic in what to expect, getting honest feedback. That's the type of service that they offer. So it's not something you necessarily want to wait till at the end of your program to take advantage of, but it's not something you want to use at the very, very, very beginning. You want to take some courses, you want to get familiarized with everything else, and then you want to use them as another tool to help with your strategy and your plan. So when you get to the end, you're really, really well positioned. And with that, I get the cue. I'd like to thank you for listening to me, and really appreciate the time you've spent going through this part, and invite you all, if there are any questions, you'll have that info contact email to really send the question, or myself. I believe they're going to be sending these slides and this video. Obviously, you received this video, but there might be the links on the slides to reach out and see if you need an appointment. We can maybe sit down virtually and go over any specific questions to your case.